Two marker. What's going on, Alamo City Movie Talk fans? As always, I am your host, Ryan D. Caller Ryan 680.
And this is Lex back at it again with another review.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen. They can't believe we just got done watching Fast 10 last night, guys, ladies and gentlemen,
Yep.
moviegoers out there. And now we are back to what filmmaking is all about. We are back to where feels great. Feels great to be alive. Worst do that, mediocre films and everything. So we are back, guys. Episode 10, International Break, ladies and gentlemen, is the title of this episode. And they released this episode. We're a little bit behind, guys. So if you see this review, we're a little bit behind. We apologize for that. Usually we'll have it uploaded and ready to go, but due to the fact that we had a movie review, Fast 10, our schedule got a little changed a little bit. But without further ado, guys, let's get right to it. And before we get right to it, if you have not already, like, share, subscribe to us on our Alamo City Movie Talk channel. Hit that little thumbs up notification, and be sure to let us know in the comments down below what did you think of this episode. Of course, no spoilers whatsoever, but we will mention the spoilers at the very end. But episode 10, season 3, and I can't believe we only have 2 more episodes left.
Yeah.
But
Man,
yeah, I can't
ready.
believe it. But yeah, but before we get into it again, we are locally here in San Antonio, and I know we're not a sports channel whatsoever, but I've always been a diehard Spurs fan and everything, and I'm pretty sure I did not mention this to Lex yet, but I'm pretty sure you saw it all over Facebook and
Yeah.
everything and the internet.
I
And
posted a story about it.
dude, man, oh my God, this is just, yeah, it really was an emotional thing. The thing about San Antonio, guys, in Texas, is that San Antonio is it feels like a small town, but it's a small town, big city, and we are so emotional when it comes down to like the Spurs, the San Antonio Spurs local basketball team here, and knowing that we are reviewing a football team, right? We're reviewing a Ted Lasso, and knowing that's a sports and everything. So as of today, and we are anticipating, right? The draft doesn't start. I think it's not the draft's not until June 22nd, I believe.
Yeah.
But it is
It's pretty much a given, though.
yeah, of course, yeah. But it
Yeah.
is a given. I seen photoshops. I saw people cheering. I saw people going on downtown already honking the horn, doing that Spurs. And that is the thing I haven't seen in years. Since the Tim Duncan, Marco Bellinelli, Tony Parker, Boris Ginobili. Oh my God, just I have so much emotional because I grew up with that the trio and everything. But we got him, guys. It's since 1997. We haven't had the number 1 draft pick since 1997. But yeah, this is just insane to me.
It's only happened 3 times in the franchise, I think, where we
in
get
history.
the first pick.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the last time was Tim Duncan, ladies and gentlemen. And we know how much of iconic player, franchise player. I mean, just everyone, he's just a phenomenal guy. And he really is a blessing to the San Antonio Spurs league and blessing to the NBA because how humble he was on and off the court, in so many different ways. But this guy is following the footsteps of French player Victor. I'm gonna try to pronounce this.
Yeah, honestly, I know a little bit of French and never seen anything like his last name either.
Yeah, it's very
Give it a
unique
shot,
though. I'm
dude,
gonna
'cause
love
I
it.
can't
Yeah,
either. No,
I'm
it
gonna love
is.
it. Wambanama. Well, I'm saying that totally wrong, guys. But
yes,
I'm
close as we
I'm
can.
butchering it. I do apologize, but yeah, Victor, he's gonna be a great addition to the San Antonio Spurs, guys. Like we cannot wait to see you here. We cannot wait because
Dude,
definitely
he's like taller.
yes.
He's taller than Shaq, dude. That's
Dude,
insane.
yes, and you just see his ball playing skills. Like, oh my God, he's a
haven't.
really good. I saw clips of him
I'm excited,
today. Yeah, dude, he's a really good ball player. I mean, the
But
ball
don't worry,
handling
y'all.
skills are great.
This isn't like a Sava situation, right? Like,
Yeah,
I
no,
think he'll
yeah,
fit in within the org and have some of that Spurs culture, which Spurs, not a basketball professional myself,
yeah.
both history or tactician, but
Mhm,
I remember there was a time where at a company that I worked at, we
mhm,
were talking about teamwork and just how to create a culture of teamwork, very like Ted Lasso
mhm.
like, but to demonstrate that, we actually saw some clips of one of the championship runs that the Spurs had because of their implementation of
Yep.
teamwork and some of the techniques that they had, where or like the playmaking was around them trusting each other, knowing where there'd be, and you can see that recently on the Ted Lasso episodes, there's been an emphasis on that, and
Yep.
Ted's epiphany of what total football is came actually from basketball playmaking. So,
Yeah.
if you guys, uh, I know when, like Ryan said, we're not a sports channel, but it's relevant stuff.
It's
Just
relevant because it's San
that's what
Antonio.
he
That's the
is.
thing.
Yeah,
We are San Antonio based. This is local, and when something big like this happens, guys, and it's definitely we have to mention it because it's the nature and it's the nature of us of these human beings being a part of this community, being a part of our local fan base here, of our local moviegoers, of the local. We all. It's funny because it's crazy how people are honking already, right? And the thing with San
yeah,
Antonio is that we are so united together when it comes down to so many different things, not just basketball, of course, but it's just a lot of it had to do with, even in this episode, which we'll talk about later, was a lot had to do with the fact that, it was just, it's more than just a team. And we'll leave it at that. But yeah, guys, definitely excited for that. Definitely excited for this season. I can't believe it. The last time we got it was 1997 with Tim Duncan. So you can only exaggerate that the stakes are really high. And average is 21 points per game, age 19 legs. Can you believe this kid's 19 years old, dude? Yeah,
it's
dude,
crazy, dude.
19 years old, 7 foot. I mean, dude, he's gonna be a force to be reckoning here when he comes down to San Antonio, which we can only anticipate here. But I'm pretty sure that's what's gonna happen. But yeah, definitely excited for that. But with that out of the way, guys, now let's talk about Ted Lasso review, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get right to it. We're not gonna talk about spoilers just yet, but stay tuned because we're gonna talk about spoilers very, very soon. But Lex, what did you think of this episode right off the bat? What did you get? What was your initial reaction to this, knowing from the last one? Where we left off and everything, and we knowing we're getting kind of like jumps, but not really, but yet without
Yeah.
spoiling it whatsoever. What did you think of this episode, man? Did it really exceed your expectations? Did it exceed? Did Nate get a redemption story? I don't know. We'll find out. Let's find out, man. I don't know. Let's
Yeah, well,
go,
I
Lex.
won't
What do you
answer all
think?
those questions because we're on the spoiler free zone.
Yeah.
But what I'll say here is this episode had a lot of surprises from the get go.
Yeah.
There's some big changes that take place right
Mhm.
from the very beginning, which I was not expecting. So I think that's going to catch a lot of the audience members by surprise. Then after that, after an initial kind of like surprise that we get on the episode, one of my secondary thoughts was just how even though it's late in the season, like this episode
Mhm.
still feels so real in the regards that we have good days and we have bad days. So this
Yeah.
episode continues to put certain characters through the ringer of experiencing hardships and
Mhm.
things not going the way exactly how we want it to go. And
Mhm.
I think, a lot of people have talked about how when the show kind of goes in a way where like, oh, it's a little there's hardships and not everything's happy and things like that. Some people
Yeah.
think that that's the show like not being true to itself, but it's been true in the sense that this is real life, right? Like it's
Mhm.
what people deal with. Not everything is sunshine and rainbows, but it's how we
Yeah.
react to those things that matters. So this episode still puts characters through some of those challenges, and for a moment I was like, man, like a lot of
Mhm.
this stuff is really tough, but this episode did something really good, which is those hardships for the most part were all addressed within this episode, and just how to deal with it, how to navigate, and some further reveals and changes. That's as much as I can do without spoiling it. It was a super
Yeah.
eventful episode. A lot of key things happened, in my opinion. One thing I just want to set the expectation is there was little Ted in here, but honestly, at this point, we know that Ted Lasso is the name of the show, but we do love all the characters in here,
Mhm.
or
Yes,
most
of
of them at
course.
least, right? But we're
Yeah.
we like following their journey, so I don't think that's
Yeah.
necessarily a problem. But what do you think, Ryan? What were your thoughts on this, man?
Man, this a whole episode as a whole, comes out to be a little bit above, a little bit average, a little bit above an hour. And
Oh
I
yeah,
felt
it
so
was pretty
much
long too.
so
Yeah,
yeah, I felt so emotional on certain camera moments, camera action
yeah,
moments that were just really deep and were very
yeah,
powerful. And when someone says film is not powerful, and all that stuff. It's just you're totally wrong. You're dead wrong. Film is powerful, especially when you do a good message here, and that's the thing too. This whole series, this whole idea, is I've always said it in the past, ever since I fought for it, when I first glanced into like Apple TV. What's Apple TV Plus? What the heck was that? What's Apple TV? Because at first it wasn't Apple TV Plus. I think it was Apple TV. And they're like, what is this? And what is this Ted Lasso show? I still remember watching this and for the very first time. And, it opened my heart to so many different things that I never thought that was possible with the show. I mean, granted, with the, Game of Thrones or whatever, but, it's always had a bad guy, right? I mean, this guy, Rupert, whatever, is the bad guy, right? But, it's after all that, when you peel all those layers off, it's really just good people doing good things here. It's really good people just trying to make amends, or just trying to live their best life as possible, living the best moments we see here. And then it makes me feel awesome to be alive. It makes me feel awesome to where, like, dude, this show is truly powerful. This movie, these moments, whether they're magical moments or whether they're struggling moments where come to realize I can do better, come to realize I have an addiction, coming to realize I have a depression, coming to realize that, so many different areas to where of life that I never thought was possible on camera when it comes down to this. And, they say, Ted Lasso, that's why I kind of thought, this whole series is, we knew we were going to get Nate, the redemption story somehow, right? We knew we were going to get Ted in there too, a lot of because of the struggles that he had last season. But knowing this episode, yes, Lex is right. We did not get a lot of Ted Lasso in this episode. We could see that outright. We didn't. But the fact of the matter is that we got so much character development with so many characters, was just truly astonishing, was truly amazing, and I was pleasantly surprised. It exceeded I already go in with high stakes with Ted Lasso already, and knowing that it just exceeded it over and over again. I'm probably gonna rewatch it after doing this review with you. I'm gonna rewatch this again because this episode was just so damn powerful. Oh my god, dude!
There was.
This is why I don't know if it's with you, Lex, but I'll personally say this is why I do movie stuff. This is why I do TV stuff. This is a prime example that. This is, I want to bring awareness to where this is a powerful series. It's a powerful episode, and it truly is remarkable to see all these different characters have not a closing chapter, because it is coming to an end. You kind of feel that way now, right? I mean, can you agree? Can you kind of feel that way? It kind of feels like it's closing. Yeah, it's sinking in, because last episode we were like, it doesn't feel like it's gonna end. Well, this one just hits you, boom, with a knockout.
And this is in terms of like what we're trying to say is a lot of stuff comes through realization in this episode. It's super exciting to see, but it's also like the show keeps surprising us. There's a lot of elements of like, I did not think that was going to go that way, and this and this and that. But like, I think a lot of people are going to be pleased with this episode. I think that's about as much as we can say without really like bringing in the spoilers, right? Like, it's tough. But this is one where I binged the whole series. I've watched season 1 and 2. I've watched
before watching this
3 times, like 3 runs. I did that before the season started. But this is one of like, I always go back to binge the whole season as a whole. But if I was like, I just want to watch this one episode again, this is in that list, I think.
Definitely. Oh, yes. 110%.
Because of the message behind it. And
there's so much, even Becca, like there's just so much. There's just so much happening.
I mean, Becca's in the show. We know that, right?
Becca's in the show. But people that work, because we're with you guys, moviegoers. We are with you guys. We were complaining about football. Now that we got a little guilty pleasure of football, which I think I was pleasant. Well, you know what I mean. I was pleasantly happy in the last few episodes. Yeah, I was. I don't know if you were, but I was.
We feel it when something's gone.
And with this one, you really felt it wasn't going to go that route in a great way. I mean, whoa, I didn't expect that. This when it comes down to the writing, comes down to where
Yeah.
directing, and just this is what filmmaking is about, man. This is why I do movies reviews, and granted this is a TV review. This is why I do this stuff, and it's amazing to really I really wish, again, this is crazy, right? Call me crazy, but I really wish they would screen this in a movie theater where you can just experience it, because movies like this, or I'm sorry, TV shows like this, I'm used to saying movies, TV shows like this need to be screened at the best possible screen out there. And granted, yes, it is limited um to what do you call it, to TV. But I mean, if Apple TV could do it, I would definitely watch, starting from this episode, the last 3 episodes in a movie theater, the last three
Yeah.
episodes because granted, we're speculating, guys, that if they are indeed the last three, which I hoping we were, at least the last two to be over an hour or maybe an hour and a half, we never know. But if they are by the hour, because that's what they're averaging around pretty much, I would definitely it would definitely be interesting to see it in a movie theater. But yeah, definitely, guys, it's a very great episode. Lex, what's your rating? We're gonna go ahead and do ratings first, and then we'll go ahead into spoilers. But Lex, after watching this, after really talking about this with me as much as we can without spoiling it whatsoever, what is your official review of season 3, episode 10? We got 2 more episodes left, man. 2 more episodes left
Yeah.
of this season, and yeah, what did you give it?
I was debating on this, man, but I'm not gonna go around it. This is another 10 for me. It
What?
is. It's another 10.
What?
I don't care, dude. I don't care, dude. Um, I was gonna give it like just something on the super high, like nines, but now, man, even just you recapping some of the stuff, like it just made me remember
Yeah.
like some of the stuff that I experienced on this episode. It's one of those magical episodes. I mean, every episode has a level of magic in here, but
Yeah.
just what they did here for a lot of the characters, and I don't care. I may not be right in the head. I may be super biased because I love this show so much. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Me
but
too.
but there's a reason I love it. It resonates a lot
Yeah.
with what I believe in, and I think this episode has that potential of like making
Yeah.
people better in a 1 hour and 4 minute episode, right? Like you come out a better person than the first. And I'm not saying like you go through this transformation, but I think you take away so much that you can implement in your life.
Yeah.
And not every piece of television does that. So for me, I'm sorry, Ryan. I'm gonna have to put a 10 in the
Damn.
bucket there.
Yeah.
That's just me
You
though.
know.
That is just me.
Yeah. No. Yeah. It's crazy because yeah, there's just so much different layers of heartwarming, and it's definitely remarkable to really experience so many different emotional moments here. And we especially just this emotional moment right here is just seeing the whole team together. It just, you definitely have, I could tell you right now, as watching this picture, I've experienced every single face of every single face watching this show. I've experienced every single one, personally experienced it, every single face here of watching this season, of watching all the seasons of Ted Lasso. And yeah, it definitely it's definitely sinking in, guys. It's gonna be the end of the series. And but my rating, I'm gonna have to go. It's surprising because it just, I have to, after really critically thinking about this, and really just layering out the different moments that I had with this episode, and different emotional grasp that I had on this. I'm going to give this a solid 10 as well. This is my 10.
Damn! I
Yeah,
can't
dude.
believe
Yeah.
this. I'm gonna walk out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Which
crazy.
is crazy
You
because
know what?
yeah. Yeah,
No,
go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. Just real quick, but like like there's multiple times on the episode where
Yeah.
Ted like and Beard are together, and like Beard says something like "good job," and he's like, that you don't hear that from that guy. This 10 right here,
Yeah.
you don't hear that from this guy. So that's high praise,
Yeah.
y'all.
Yeah, yeah, man. I can't believe it. This is crazy to me. I mean, it's yeah, this episode I was gonna I'm definitely gonna rewatch it again. I'm
Yeah.
definitely gonna be rewatching it probably even after today. I'll probably rewatch it before the weekend, because that's the thing though, man, is that show this show, anyone I could tell you personally me, anyone that I recommended it, they're sucked in. It's just they get sucked into the characters, because you feel like a Keely, you feel like a Nate, you feel like a Ted, you feel like a Beard, you feel like any of these characters, and they're so written very well. You're even a Colin. You're even a Trent, maybe. You never know. That's the thing, is that these characters are just so different, from different backgrounds, from different journeys in their lives, and they all are working. I'm just saying, if my workplace was like this, if my work environment was like this, oh my God, things that will get done. That's all I'm saying. The things that will get done here. But I would give it a solid 10, guys. All right, let's get right to it, because I can't wait to talk about
Wow.
spoilers here, ladies and gentlemen. But yes, now we are talking about spoilers, guys. So spoilers. If you have not seen Ted Lasso, or but you're just like me, you just don't give a crap, let's talk spoilers, guys. Let's get right to it, and I'll put it on the marker down below. When our spoilers talk will start, especially right now. But yeah, Lex, let's get right to it, man. What did you?
Yeah.
We're gonna already on the bat. We're gonna go ahead and start with our ratings, guys, and then we'll get into the really good stuff, because there's a lot of goodies that happen here in this episode. I'm definitely
Yeah.
excited for you guys, the moviegoers out there, the Ted Lasso fans out there. Definitely excited for us. And by the way, I forgot to mention it, but we will be doing a live we'll be doing a live reaction to the last season, episode 12. So the last episode of this last season, guys. We will be watching it with you. We'll do a live rewatch it, reaction to it, and just really just hanging out with us. If you want to hang out with us, watch it with us. Maybe you are. Maybe you're just gonna watch us watch it with us, and that's great too. So we'll put it up as much as we can without getting blocked. But yeah, be on the lookout for that, because me and Lex are gonna be watching it. We're gonna be seeing our comments about it, our own commentary, like our own director's cut commentary. But yeah, all right, guys. If you haven't already, like, share, subscribe, and let's get right to it. Lex, what are we talking about at the first start of this episode here, man? I mean, we got a lot happening here.
I speak for everyone when we say, like, we were all shocked that pretty much the start of the episode, and the show has done this before, where there's kind of like a news recap of how good Richmond has been doing, how good stuff has been happening. But
West Ham,
right off the bat, we see the commentators talk about Nate being out of West Ham. There being like a change, and I was like, immediately we were all like, what? Like, I don't know exactly what your reaction was, Nate, but I had to like pause and like talk to Eileen, my wife, and tell her, like, I knew he would have to leave there somehow, or he would get fired, because I think the newscast said that he got fired.
No, they got fired. Yeah, so that was the news. That was the news people.
Yeah. But I told Eileen, like, I did not think it was going to go this way, because I thought there was going to be like the championship match with like Nate and Lasso.
Yeah,
but like having to kind of still have respect. We've all speculated that, and just the fact that they hit us with this curveball. And then later in the episode, we find out it was Nate quitting. Also, just kind of like a line thrown out of nowhere.
Yeah,
right. And so immediately we're just like, this is defying like the way that we thought this show was going to go, especially on these last 3 episodes. But what was your reaction to that in particular, Ryan? Like, just seeing that.
I was, Angela asked me, because she saw, like, we're like, what, and we're like, did we miss something? And I was just like,
no, it almost feels like you skipped an episode, right?
Yeah. And I mean, call us crazy, guys, if you were like that as well. But it just, I was definitely like, did I miss an episode? Like, I was like, did I skip ahead? Is this episode 11? Like, what did I miss? Because we get the press access for it. So I was just like, what did I miss? Or what was there something, that didn't make sense to me? And I was definitely shocked. I was just like, holy crap, what happened? But then when they said he got fired, I was like, no, bullshit. I was like, no, there's no way. I bet you, because of the actions that he did last time, that I thought initially, I really thought that Rupert fired him because he didn't want to cheat on his wife or cheat on his girlfriend with him. That's what I thought. Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what you're
box Rupert.
Yeah, and see, everyone sees Rupert in here. I don't care what anyone says. Everyone sees Rupert. I see Giles from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. But yeah, just like it's definitely a shocker. It definitely was. I mean, we didn't anticipate this. I don't think so. I mean, unless you did.
I don't think anyone could have called it, because you would think that that's the climax, the final moment. Maybe
going to be them in the championship match. Yeah, in the championship match. That's what we all thought. Everyone thought, right? I mean,
And no, Nate is out. It was his choice. However, you could see that Rupert pitched it to the news as like, oh yeah, we fired him type of thing.
Of
because he would
course.
never admit like, oh, Nate
Of
quit.
course.
But then we kind of, a lot of this happened in this episode. But very quickly, I want to emphasize like how in this
Yeah.
episode we found Nate in a pretty dark place, right? He's confused. He's not too sure if what he did was the right thing, but at deep inside, he feels like he did the right thing, right? He just needed some validation and help from Jade, his girlfriend, and even Jade told him like, hey, what do you feel? Do you feel like you did the right thing? And she's like, yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah. And she's like, that's your answer. That's all you needed to know. But Nate is still conflicted because, yeah, obviously that's an opportunity of a lifetime to throw away, but it just didn't align with who he is as a person now, and who he's
Yeah.
realized he was following into a dark place, which was Rupert. So
Hmm.
I just once again was truly shocked of the nature of it all, like how it came
Me
together.
too.
But the moment that there's that small reveal of like, yeah, like, am I stupid for quitting this job? And like, I was like,
Yeah.
damn, Nate did that. Like it's part of his continued growth because he drew a line, and he was assertive rather than, like I said, rather than going deeper in a hole, like he exited himself out of it. So
Yeah.
super proud of him in that moment. But and we'll talk more about him, but we follow him on a path where he kind of needs to reconnect with his roots in the form of visiting his parents and kind of isolating there. There's press outside his house, and so that's not a position that anyone wants to be in, feeling that uncomfortness. So him needing to
Yeah.
reconnect and kind of clear his mind, is what we go through in this episode.
Yeah, there's so much happening here with Nate that you definitely see a struggle in himself. You really see like he's lost. He's lost
Yep.
in a way to where I thought I was doing the right thing by, essentially starting, the way he did the very last episode of last season. And, you really see his character take a toll on himself because he pushes himself, brings himself down. He really I don't want to say he does it to himself because he made his decisions. He knew what he was getting
Yeah.
himself into. He knew that I'm not gonna his consequences. But is this really a redemption? It's
Well, I want
definitely
to talk more about that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But with him going back to his parents and everything, I thought that was really good. That was a really good development. We had different again, we go back to where different journeys. Everyone has a different journey. And then also we did see a lot of development with him and his father that I thought was really damn good. Really damn like
Yeah. It,
one of those emotional great moments in this episode here. And we got to
yeah.
see Nate really go along with it. And it was definitely a heartwarming moment because we hadn't really got one this season in a way. I mean, with him and his new girlfriend, but like not necessarily like his own,
With
like
his
with them,
father.
or yeah, even with his father, but just his own
Oh, yeah.
his own development without not relationship development, right? Because but as a good person again to what he originally once was,
Yeah, there was a
and we
time
saw
of
that.
reflection, and yeah,
Yeah,
there
and
was
we
a
saw
time
that
of
a lot
reflection,
in this episode.
but we can see Nate relying less and less on people for certain things. He leans on for support in some areas, but he's now leaning on the right people as opposed to the wrong people. But at the same time, like, yeah, this was about him reflecting, and he once again continues to surprise me in the sense that he's now willing to stand up for himself a bit more, right? Like we saw it in the
Yeah.
conversation with his father, like around an extremely profound moment where he not even confront, but he was like, yeah, like, you always struggled with, you were super strict with me, and
Hmm.
you hated this and this about me, and it just doesn't seem like you're proud of me. I don't know if those were the exact words, right? I have to rewatch it.
Yeah.
But we then see his father in a vulnerable moment where he's like, I just, you were giving opportunities that I didn't, so I thought I had to be strict. And that's
Hmm.
true in so many households, right? Like,
Yeah.
I can personally say I've experienced some of that, and it's tough. It's tough on both parties, right?
Hmm.
A father can easily disconnect from the realistic expectations and how to like treat their son, and then the son can feel the pressure of the world, right? So
Yeah.
we see that Nate has dealt with that, and in a sequence where we find that he plays violin beautifully, it's also revealed that like from his father that Nate is, he compliments him in a sense like, I just didn't know how to raise a genius. And trust me when I say this, guys, like, because some people that may still be on the hate Nate like
Yeah.
bus, um understandably so, but
Yeah.
people may think like, ah, don't you dare call him a genius. But no, like
Yeah.
it now makes sense. Like he has the tendencies of what a lot of these children exhibit,
Mhm.
that are labeled as geniuses, in terms of how fast they can progress, and compute problems and create solutions. Like he exhibits those qualities not only in the soccer, but now we see how, he can really pick a bunch of like different things and excel at them, in the form of the piano tune that he plays. I think, yeah, it was a very well executed moment. It's been leading up for a while, right? Like, for a lot of times we've seen his father kind of be just cold to him, and not really super supportive. Then we started seeing a little bit more about who his father was to like his mother, in terms of like, professing like, his interest in her, and asking her out on a date. And now we finally hear him from him, and see how he sees that he was really tough on Nate now. So yeah, just extremely powerful moment. uh we'll talk a bit more about this, but like that moment is also overlaid with a different scene with a different character going through something. So it
Yes.
was it was
Yeah.
just great, like the way it was shot, edited, put together, like the story wise, like it was excellent, and it really made me emotional, truly.
Yeah, that Nate scene. No, and fun fact, guys, he actually is playing that violin, which I thought was pretty good because,
Oh, really?
yeah, he actually is playing the violin. And
That's awesome.
it's that whole music, and it has something to music, music, camera, just all of it plays in a factor to it, really complete a movie. And really the start of the emotional grasp was Nate's violin playing here. And you can just feel and you could just sense the emotional, like the emotions he was feeling at that very moment. And just it was so beautiful. It really
Yeah,
was. I'll
and like,
give him that. Yeah, I'll be like, I'll give him that. But no, like it's it definitely it definitely was a great moment. Yeah, it definitely had so much, what do you call it? Like so much in depth to where it really made the episode so much better. Now, is he redeemed, Lex? Is he redeemed? Do you agree? I mean, I just
no,
no. Yeah,
but
let me
but
say no.
he has one thing left.
Yeah.
Because we okay, since we're just talking about Nate, like I'm just gonna wrap up with the last moment that I
Yes.
think was really big of him,
Yeah. Mention it.
which we go into a very brief moment where, the story kind of centers on Will for a little bit, coming into the office, getting ready for his duties as the kit man and stuff like that, and we see that everything was actually done for him. And this was almost parallel to when Nate came into the office in season one, and Will was there,
Mhm.
um, with already taking care of stuff, and it was because Nate got the promotion to assistant coach, right? This was kind of parallel to it, where Will is coming into the office, everything's done for him, but we don't see anyone else, right?
Mhm.
But it was very parallel, almost like, I thought to myself, like, is Will getting like a different promotion, or maybe he's gonna have like someone to assist him? I was a little curious about where that was going, and then
Yeah.
we see a note from Nate that apologizes to Will, and even attaches a piece of lavender, because
Yes.
he was really tough on him when he wanted to switch things up. And Will
You know,
had mentioned that
saying
his mom.
yeah,
Yeah, go ahead.
saying tough though, that's lightly. He was a dick. He
No,
was
oh
a
yeah, no,
dick.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. He was
Let's
truly a
bring
dick
out
to
the
him.
facts here before we all the hate train.
No, no, no.
Let's bring out the
Yeah,
yeah,
no, he
yeah,
was a dick. Nate
yeah,
still did some very bad things, and he was a dick to Will specifically.
yeah.
When Will is nothing but a
What
sweetheart
was
from what we've
yeah,
seen.
dude. I mean, I
Um,
get it. You want to be a dick to somebody that's being a dick to you. That's
yeah,
fine. But like,
yeah,
dude, Will was like nothing but like nice to
yeah.
you. But
But
yeah, whatever.
he even signed the note like
Yeah.
Wonderkind spelled how Will spelled
How
it
Will
on the
spelled? Yeah, I
jersey.
remember. Yeah, that was
So
good. That
you
was
know,
good.
going back and then
Yeah.
people may wonder, well, how did they let Nate in? But remember, there's a secret passage
Yep.
to get to the. So I love it was brief and not the way that I thought he would apologize to Will, but I think it was
Yeah.
effective in the sense where Will appreciated it. He took
Hmm.
care of some of the details, and he gave him a morning with all his work done. Like
Yeah.
if y'all like think of like what you do at work and imagine like walking in and your stuff is taken care of, like think of the relief and feeling that that brings you. I think it's important to look
Yeah.
at that, but yeah, that needed to come for the Nate redemption arc.
For sure. For sure.
But
The start of the
he's
start.
still
The start
start, dude.
of
What are you talking
oh,
about, dude? I've
dude,
been saying this
no.
for episodes. What about
Yeah.
start, dude? He
I was
left
just kidding.
West Ham. That doesn't come out of
Oh man.
nowhere. But
Oh man. Oh,
no, no, no.
yeah.
I still, I'll admit, I've I've been deeper in the forgiving Nate
Mhm.
like zone than others, but
Yeah.
at this point, we can't lie. Like there's just one thing left to do, which is apologize to Ted.
To
And
Ted.
I say apologize slightly because there
Mhm.
was conflict on both sides, right? Like Ted
Yeah.
did take some steps that made Nate feel the way that he did. And I like that Ted never invalidated that, right? Like Ted
Mhm.
never like if you guys think about it, when Nate told him like you don't even have the picture that I showed you
Mhm.
or that I gave you, you just have other stuff in your office. But if you guys know, that picture lives in Ted's apartment next to his own son,
Yes.
and Ted could have easily in that argument say like, dude, it's at my house, but Ted didn't do that. My belief is because he didn't want to make Nate feel invalidated for what he was bringing up. But I hope that by having a conversation, maybe Nate can come to the realization that Ted was never his enemy, and Ted is also sorry for making him feel that way. But
Yes.
anyways, that conversation needs to happen.
Mhm.
That needs to be resolved in order for what I consider the redemption arc to
Yeah.
come full circle. And then from there, maybe the team needs to also address like how they felt about the tearing the paper. I don't know how it's gonna get resolved, guys. I'm not the writer. I'm not the creator. I'm just putting my
Yeah.
perspective on it. But I think Nate is very close. He took two huge steps in here,
Yeah.
and I don't know. I'm happy for him. I'm celebrating the wins that his character has as a person.
Mhm.
Be patient, y'all. I
Yeah.
think we're getting closer and closer.
Yeah, true, true that. I'll say, yeah, I'll agree. I'll
Yeah, are
agree.
you
It's
feeling better?
stepping.
Are you
It's
feeling better,
definitely
Ryan?
stepping. It's definitely steps. Definitely is. We see so many. I mean, okay, I'll give it to him. That violent scene is really remarkable,
Oh,
and I
dude.
love it. It's so much, so
Nick
much.
Mohammed,
Yeah,
kudos to him. Like the actor,
yeah,
he has demonstrated such range with this character.
yeah,
It's complex, it's funny, like it's really great to see him being showcased in the way that he is, and I really do hope that. I mean, I hope this for a lot of the characters here, but I really
yeah.
hope that Nick Mohammed gets more job out of this. I think he's
Yes,
coming out on a movie with John Hamm. Actually, I think it's a
yeah.
comedy, so I'm excited to see him in that.
Definitely, definitely. Hopefully, he gets more work after this because obviously this being the last season and everything. Yeah, I really hope to see all these actors and actresses
For
really
sure.
in new more, because they're all coming off being in a, you know, even though you don't win an Emmy, if the show wins an Emmy, you could be like on your resume, I'm
Yeah,
on an Emmy award-winning show, which is the best thing
for
that
sure.
could happen in
Yeah.
TV wise, in small screen TV wise. But yeah, let's jump ahead to where Keely's character,
Yeah.
yeah, dude, Keely, oh my god,
She's put through the ringer too.
bro, I mean,
Yeah,
dude,
you should start
I
this one because I know you've been
yeah,
talking about this in
yeah.
particular. Yeah.
So I mean, I don't want to say I called it, but I
You
mean,
kind of did for
I
sure.
kind of did, definitely did. I mean, this shit pissed me the hell off. I was like,
Oh,
really?
same, dude.
You're gonna
I was
do
gonna
this?
box too.
Yeah. Oh, dude, man, Jack, what the fuck, dude? Like, I'm sorry, just you're a piece of shit. Whether I like, I mean, you are, because the fact that you literally okay, before you didn't even let Keely know, then all this stuff was happening. Everyone was just like leaving their desk. Everyone's leaving the office. And I mean, come on, she's expressed how much she feels proud of just owning this and just being,
KJPR, yeah.
just being on her own boss and everything. She's granted, and I mean, she at the time she had to report to investors and everything, but for the most part, she's always enjoyed having her own company, having her own PR team. We see that in the end of season 1. We saw that develop, and we saw that even more so in season 2. And the fact of the matter is that, God, it just comes to show, it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter.
They
I mean,
pulled
you,
funding, yeah.
yeah, it just, and it's funny too, because Jack is the first. I mean, she literally lets everyone know the night before. That doesn't even let Keely know, which is already suspicious to begin with. And you're just
Yeah.
lost in it. You're like, what is going on with you? Like, what the fuck?
And there
Like,
was like
why?
there was like a dumb apology at some point where she
Dude,
was
a
like, "I didn't
dumbass
know,
apology. Like, I didn't
but
know. Oh no, I didn't do. I didn't have a. I didn't
oh, I
have.
couldn't
I
stop it
couldn't
or
stop
something." Like,
it. I
yeah,
was
but
like,
it's like,
whoa, okay,
yeah,
so okay, let's back up real quick. Let's back up real quick, Jack. Let's get the facts straight. All right, here we go. We hadn't talked to Keely in what record? I think she said 3 months or a few months.
yeah,
It's been
yeah,
months. It's definitely been months. And the last time you talked to her, you actually got into a huge argument, a huge fight, and you walked out or whatever the case may be, right? Okay, that's walked out. Didn't have a conversation with her, and then out of nowhere gets the funding pulled and doesn't even tell Keely that night. She tells the employees that night, doesn't even tell Keely until the day after, late in the day, because she's already drinking. She's already having her drink already. And then she's even more hurt. And she, why in the fuck would you put Keely through this? Like, what piece of shit person would put a person through this, And
yeah,
it's just, the fact that she says, oh, I didn't, that's BS. I'm sorry. It just, take it however it is.
yeah. No,
These are the facts. And yeah, call me crazy, guys. You want to come at me? Fine, come at me. I don't give a crap. All I know is that this is wrong. This should not happen to a good person like Keely. And granted, we all make our mistakes. We all do. But we knew this was going to happen, Lex. We called it. We said the pleasure and business
yeah.
it don't mix.
It's a
And we
messy
knew
thing
this.
for sure.
I hate
And
it.
that's
Because,
not to
yeah.
say like it was Keely's fault. Like
No.
Jack pretended that she was gonna handle the situation
Yeah.
like a professional, like an adult,
yeah.
but she didn't.
But they weren't even together. That's the thing that pisses me off. They weren't even together to say that, like, oh, the reason why I did it is because this, knowing that she was holding a grudge, like, I guess the whole time, maybe. I don't know. I mean, because it's been months since they talked. So knowing that she was holding that anger within, I guess, and just was like, you know what, I'm gonna screw her by doing this. Because that's essentially what you were thinking of. You
Yeah.
can't say you weren't, because you just took months to happen. I mean, obviously, and then just to outright and just say, "Oh, I had nothing to do with it," or pretty much saying, "I had nothing to do with it." BS. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
BS. Keely deserves better, and yes,
And she took it pretty hard, right? Like it
Yeah.
definitely,
Oh, hell
it's like
yeah, dude.
her world falling apart, her losing out on her employees that she's been like leading and feeling like, I don't think she says this explicitly, but of course in that moment you feel like you might have done something wrong, or you feel like your hard work is lost in this
Yeah.
moment. So we see her go through a rough patch in here, and in my head, like going through the episode, I was like, man, why are they putting her through so much shit? Like she's truly gone through a lot of stuff this episode,
Yeah.
or I'm sorry, this season. But yeah, and we see her even just in the state that she's in, she
Yeah.
can't, she feels like perhaps she can't even lean on Rebecca, like she didn't want to bother her, and
Yeah.
she's kind of ignoring certain texts and things like that, rightfully so. And some of these moments you need clarity, and sometimes you need some alone time, but
Yeah.
we see that even that alone time is a little rough on her.
Yeah, and we didn't get too much Roy Kent in here, but we did get Roy Kent wearing a I think oh man, my wife called it something. It's called
Tie-dye.
a tie-dye. There you go. I'm sorry.
Tie-dye
A
shirt.
tie-dye shirt. And everyone's tripping about it at the office. You know that one person that just wears the exact
Wears
same thing,
black. Yeah, the
wears
same
black and wears black jacket, wears a black leather jacket, wears a black shirt, pretty much wears the same thing, no color. Well, all I'm saying is that it takes the love of a niece to really make to make the change here, and it really did for Roy Kent.
Yeah, it was her gift
And
for Uncle Day.
yeah, man, that was cute. That was awesome. I didn't know there was such a thing. I mean,
It was
coming,
a it was a
is it?
great scene. I don't.
Oh, okay.
Well, no, I don't know
Oh,
actually,
okay.
but it's
That'll be
just
interesting if
it's
there
made
is. Put
up.
a comments down below. We haven't researched that.
I
Yeah.
think Roy even said like this is made up, right? And just
Yeah.
like it's
And
one
if
of her
that's what
favorite
she wants,
holidays.
yeah, if that's what she wants, that's awesome, man. I loved it. And then
That was a good scene because they
yeah.
also like invited Jamie, who they said like, oh, it's your best
Oh,
friend, and
oh,
it's true. Like
yes. Did you get the
they're
Jersey joke?
yeah
Oh yeah, yeah.
yeah
Oh man, that
yeah
was
yeah.
great. Oh man, I was cracking up.
Um, but that scene was hilarious. There's
Yeah,
obviously a lot, like I said, characters go through some rough patches where we have
yeah,
some funny moments. Just quick honorable mentions. We don't have to do like a breakdown or
yeah,
anything like that. But that moment, even just meeting Roy's sister, like that was nice. But like
yeah.
seeing Jamie in there, it's heartwarming to see where they started at. Right, like
Yes, yeah.
rivals, they had zero respect amongst each
Now
other,
they're
and
like
now
best. Not
be
they're not best friends, but they almost like best friends
and Jamie
in a
gave
way.
him a gift that like Roy genuinely said like I
I
love
like.
it. Like
Yeah,
it's
that is
crazy,
great.
right?
Yeah, that is
But
crazy good.
we also have a little bit of a fun like Danny Rojas versus
Dude, that was
Van Damme.
hilarious. I was like, dude, where is the fire in that when he plays for Richmond?
I
Like,
know, dude.
God, I think it was because he was in the hood. He was in Mexico. That's why he was
Yeah,
in the
dude.
yeah.
And even the commentators when they were watching his
They're like, man, Danny
national
doesn't
play,
even play like this.
they were like, "Oh, he's a different man when he wears the green
Yep,
jersey." And
because he's fighting for his
that's how
country.
it
That's
is,
why.
dude. He turned
Yeah.
into it reminded me of when Ted Lasso turns into Let Tasso. It's
Oh
like
my
goes dark
God.
mode and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Oh
But
yeah.
that was a
Yeah.
funny moment. Other stuff as well in here. Those are some of the two. Um,
We gotta mention Strong Keely real quick. We got to mention Roy and
the,
Keely. Roy and Keely.
oh, okay.
Roy
You want to
and
skip to the?
Keely.
Okay, I was
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
leave that
Roy
for
and
the
Keely.
end,
Yes, Roy and
but
Keely are back together. I
well,
knew it.
hold on.
Okay,
No, you're
come
right.
on.
No,
Come
no,
on.
no,
They
you're
gotta
right.
be
I don't want to
together.
break your flow. No, 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 no.
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
here to argue that. I'm
yeah.
so happy that they're back as well.
Yes.
But I just wanted to
Team Keely.
prefix like it did take Roy some like
Yeah.
some I don't want to say transformation. Roy progressed throughout this episode where he came
Mhm.
to the realization, right, of just like getting out of his own head, getting out of his own way, and that has been present in a lot of episodes. I know Rebecca gave him a talking to, but this
Get
moment
the
is
head
where
out of his
he
ass. Like,
finally
dude,
did
yeah.
it. And he apologized and actually wrote a letter to Keely,
That
showed
was
up to her
good.
house, and actually had to say it out loud because Keely can't read his handwriting, which is
Oh
a
God.
problem. I
You know
have
what's
bad
funny?
handwriting.
I have the same exact problem because Angela cannot read my chicken scratch handwriting.
Yeah, dude,
So
it's
I
bad.
I'm the same and yeah,
Sorry, I'm
it
getting
definitely.
allergies.
Oh, you're getting
Um,
emotional, dude. I know,
yeah,
man. I
dude,
know.
it's
He
Keely's
oh
back. Keely
Keely,
and Roy.
yes, Keely and Roy,
No,
dude.
but
Oh yes,
obviously
thank
such a
you.
great moment. The
Yeah.
way he delivered it, and he came to the realization of like, hey, like I probably did something that made you feel like you weren't like a
Hmm.
total badass, but you were. This was 100% about me and the way that I was dealing through shit. And he said sorry, and he was okay with just that sorry. And at the like at a point, Keely was just like,
Yeah.
okay, like thank you for this. Um, like Keely was appreciative of it, but I think she
Hmm.
was needing a moment.
Yeah.
And the scene ends. There's a very like you have to pay attention to it, but there's a very quick moment where we do see Keely turn right before the scene like
Oh
pans to
yes.
something
Yeah.
else, because like at a moment where we're like, okay, they planted the seed for maybe them
Hmm.
returning, but we're not there yet, I guess. But we then see we'll cover her soon, but we then see Rebecca pay
Yep.
Keely a visit, catching up after a time where both of them didn't get to like talk to each other much.
Yeah.
And Roy Kent walking down the stairs, just
In the bathrobe,
getting dressed in a bathrobe of Keely.
dude. I was like,
So we know
yes.
that's when we knew they're back, and we're so happy. People are gonna be so
I'm
excited.
excited. Yeah.
I admit I was wrong because I was I was for Keely and Roy. I was doubtful. I knew there was something with the teacher. The teacher makes an appearance here,
Yeah,
and
I really thought it was gonna happen. Like I was like, don't put him with that
I know
teacher.
that
Like I
I
was
looked
just
at
like,
Eileen, and Eileen was like,
don't.
no,
But it
because
kind
she
of
even
looked like
got
it
like
was
her
gonna set
hair
up.
done. I mean, that was probably just the
Yeah,
actors, but I saw like her hair was done and stuff like that. And I was like, ah, here it comes. But
yeah,
I have to rewatch it again because like it was a conversation between the teacher and Roy that made him realize,
yeah,
fuck, like I have to
yeah.
clean this mess up, right? Like,
We're not even
uh,
cleaning the mess up though. He realized how much he's fully cared about Keely this whole
oh
time.
yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
and that's why I kind of feel like, I mean, he didn't politely just said, I gotta go or
It's
whatever.
like, yeah,
It's yeah,
yeah,
I
yeah,
gotta
yeah. So
go,
he,
and this
no,
isn't right.
yeah,
Like yeah, so
and there
he
wasn't any
felt
like any substantial other stuff. I
yeah,
just saw enough like where it was clearly purposely done
yeah,
so that hey, but like Eileen brought up a good point is like those two characters, the teacher and Roy, are very similar, right?
yeah,
And that doesn't always mean that it's like the right fit and things like that. Whereas Roy and Keely balance each other very well.
yeah.
So
Correct.
yeah, we're so happy.
Definitely.
I can't wait to hear like the team's reaction to like when they
Yes.
decide to announce that they're back.
Yeah.
I can't wait. That's gonna be so good.
Team Roy. I was
Uh,
never Team Jack, by the way. I was never Team Jack. I just want to clarify.
me neither. I was just open. I was curious. I was
No,
curious,
God no.
but
And I want to clarify here because this isn't because it's just I kind of saw it from the beginning. You could tell by someone's character. That's all I'm saying.
yeah,
Yeah. And doesn't
absolutely.
and I know everyone's gonna jump to the conclusion. It wasn't because it was a woman. It was because it was just character driven. That's what it was. I already
Yeah.
saw it. We saw very suspicious attitude. But
And I
yeah,
even pointed at one point, like I was still open and
yeah,
seeing like, oh, maybe Jack will prove us wrong. But I remember telling y'all here on one of our episodes where when Keely was describing her relationship with Jack, it was more about like the material and like, yeah,
mhm,
she's badass type of thing. But
yeah,
it wasn't really about like, oh, we're just like a great fit or like we push each other. Like it wasn't a conversation around that.
yeah,
Whereas I think her answer with describing Roy's relationship would have been different. So
yeah,
just super happy, excited. I hope they go more into it as far as like, yeah, we're back. Because that one was like, oh
yeah.
well, they like had sex, but I'm pretty sure it's like they're back. So I'm super
Definitely.
happy about that.
Definitely. We're gonna end right here, guys, with our last segment, which is the last thing that
A big part of the
yeah,
episode for
big,
sure.
big, huge part here, which we got Becca, a huge Becca moment here that was so powerful in so many different ways,
Yeah.
and it just I didn't expect that at all. It was this episode has to be the most unpredicted episode I've seen.
Just
Um,
because a lot of
yeah,
stuff, right? Like
yeah,
a
like
lot of
I would.
knots getting like
Yeah,
I don't
like
know
you kind of
loose
think
or
it's gonna
tied.
turn
Tied.
this way, and then obviously it doesn't. It turns a totally different curveball here, and there's a huge Becca speech in here that's so damn good. Like, I mean, what was it? Last episode we got a Roy Kent speech, and then this one
Yes,
we
that was
got
last
a
episode.
Becca speech that was so damn good. That was
Yeah,
so spectacular. That
and just to
yeah,
prefix it, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Ryan,
no, go ahead.
but we find Becca in a place where she's put in a position to have a seat at the table, both literally and figuratively, when it comes to Edwin Akufu's like big plan
Yeah,
of creating this Super League, and
Super League. Yeah,
but Becca wasn't invited directly. It was Rupert kind of asking
mhm.
her in, and even she realizes, hey, they just want a woman there to like make it look good. That's the reality of a lot of business settings, unfortunately.
Yeah,
But Becca's then encouraged by her peers, specifically Leslie, to just go, see what's what, and you've earned that position. Whether it was Rupert that brought you in or whatever, like you've earned that position. And so we find her in a place where she's facing, more people like Rupert, right? Like
yep.
those older billionaires set
Hold
in
it.
their
Yep.
ways and things like that. And
Still in their old ways.
Ukufu gives them a tasty plan that will give them tasty profits. And we see Becca really coming in her element. Uh, and I'll let you describe this part, Ryan. But like
Yeah.
Becca, once again, is in a position where she has a voice, but she's
Yeah.
been used to these men kind of like running the world
Running
essentially.
and running the whole league
Yeah,
in a way to where
they're all club
she's
owners.
never, yeah, she's just always not I mean, always agreed to a certain degree, right? When it comes down to it, because it's just like, yeah, I'll go with the flow, whatever. Because she's always, I don't want to say she's been afraid, but in a way, she has been afraid
Yeah.
of sticking up for herself. When it comes down to ownership, right? To ownership roles, because granted, the way she did get the club and the way that, because everyone was just talking about, it goes back
Yeah.
to where so much of the media and so much, the media calling her old Becca and everything back in season one, and just you have all that clout on you. And the fact that I think Keely texted her right before, and
Like, you
she was
got
like,
this.
"Yeah, you got this." But before we actually saw her in there, there was this moment in the mirror
Oh,
that she
such a
was,
great
yeah,
moment too.
such a great moment that she put her hands down, she bent over and she made this noise, and she was just
She
like,
makes herself big. Like,
"Yeah,
this
big,
goes back
yeah,
to season
yeah,
2, where
two, yeah,
she actually taught Nate
Nate,
what she does
yeah."
to like when
And
she's
Nate actually
afraid.
does it. Yeah, he does it in his
But
own
he
way.
does the spit
Yeah,
thing.
he does the spit thing too. But yeah,
Not
he
anymore. Not
not
anymore.
anymore. Yeah,
That
but
was
he
Paul
he
and Nate
he remixes it a little bit. But
for sure.
yes, yeah, this
But
definitely is
the
a huge
parallel,
moment.
yeah, but the
Yeah,
parallel visually of like her as a little
yeah,
kid,
a
right?
little kid. Yeah,
And doing the same motions. I think there's a couple of ways to
that was
interpret that,
great.
but it's almost her, like,
Like,
perhaps she needed to do it back then as
mhm,
well, but it's also her, like, having
yeah,
that difference of, you've earned your spot, look how far you've come, type of thing. That's how I
yes,
perceived it.
yeah,
So yeah, such a great moment, like you said. There was like some like music in the background while she was doing that. It inspired me, because once again, those moments and that narrative just tells us, like,
definitely.
we've all earned our place of where we're at, and or where we want to be. Like, we
Yeah,
once you get there, like, we've earned it, and sometimes you just have to remind yourself of how big you really are. And then, just like you said, Ryan, the delivery of that speech and what it meant, right? Because,
yes, yeah,
like I said, like, Kufu put up a solid presentation about how they can all make a lot more money if they fuck over the fans, essentially.
yep. And
Not
raise their
everyone's
ticket
gonna make
prices.
it, not everyone's
Raise,
gonna
yeah,
come to the matches, right?
yep. Raise the
And what
ticket
did you think
prices.
of the
Do
speech as a whole, Ryan? Like,
yeah,
I'm interested to see.
this speech was, it was amazing. It
Dude,
was just so damn good.
Hannah
There's
Waddingham, aka Becca, the
Yeah,
actress, like, just top notch
killed it.
performance.
She killed it, man. She killed that. I mean, she killed the role. She's out of the park. I mean, and fun fact, guys. Fun fact. I did not know this. Call me crazy, but I did not know she was the girl, the nun that sings "Shame" or that says "Shame" on Game of Thrones. I did not
Yep.
ever know that. I know, Angela. We
Really?
just
I
found that
hadn't
out.
mentioned
Yeah,
it before.
no, bro.
Oh,
I didn't even know that. I was like, what?
yeah, I found that
I
out
was
on
like,
season one.
holy moly. Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. I apologize. I did not know that she was the one that was saying
The
shame.
shame,
Now it's
I
shame
think
on
it's
me.
shame
Shame,
priestess or
Ryan. You
something. I
didn't know
know,
that.
shame.
Shame on me. Yeah.
No, it's hard. I mean, she's
Yeah.
unrecognizable, like, in that,
Dude,
to be
it's
honest.
yeah. And from a character to come here to this character, that's just what acting is. You can portray different characters, and
Yeah.
yeah, she does a phenomenal job. That speech is so amazing. I mean, it's got yeah, it's definitely one of the strongest speeches in the Ted Lasso universe world here in the seasons. Definitely is. And I thought last episode that was a really great speech too. But it just, man,
Just
it
hand
just
her the Emmy now. Just hand her the
bro,
Emmy.
I mean, Roy Kent and her, I mean, dude,
She
they
got it
just,
last year.
yeah, yeah.
She got it
So
last year.
I hope both of them win their Emmy. I think Roy Kent won one too, but
Yes.
yeah. So whether it's for each category or whoever's the lead or supporter, whatever the case may be, I really hope both of them do, because both of them had really great speeches, and I think there's a
Yeah.
reason why for it, because they both had character-driven arcs, and they both had character, what do you call it, character expectations that we thought that were going to happen that totally do a curveball here.
Yeah.
And man, I really loved
And
Becca's speech.
we talked about, like, a couple episodes ago. We
Yeah,
talked about how even Ted and Beard were discussing how, like, when talking about the fans, they were
yeah,
discussing, is like, hey, like, we're only borrowing their team, but it's theirs, right? And
yeah,
Rebecca does something very similar, where she talks about, like, just because we own these clubs, it doesn't mean it's ours, right?
yeah. It's yeah,
And that statement is like, it's countering itself almost, right? Like, yeah,
yeah.
well, you own the club, but
See,
she's really
yeah,
talking about something more profound here.
Yeah, see, and if you ever been to an American football team or any, I would say anything
Any
that's really big, any sports event that's really big, even going to your kids' sport event, um, teenage, middle school, whatever the case may be, or little league or t-ball, there's a community driven there. There's a community where it's such a powerful moment that it belongs to everybody in a way to where everyone's connected, community based, a team of group of kids of all different backgrounds, of all different ages, or around the same age, and just coming together and playing the game, playing the damn sport that's so remarkable and so great. Whether it be football, basketball, whatever sport that you may, baseball, whatever sport that you are really into. And that's the thing is that Becca really does this amazing speech to where the team doesn't belong to us, even though we are the owners, even though Jerry Jones owns the Dallas Cowboys. There's
Yeah.
something about that the Dallas Cowboys team, and I just the reason why I say that because I just recently went there last year, and it's just a remarkable, energetic, irresistible place to be at, and it's definitely an experience of its own. Definitely an experience than watching it. Definitely an experience than watching it on the TV. Than is act definitely being there. And I love that because Becca does share, like, dude, yeah, you already said it already, Lex, is that the team doesn't belong to Jerry Jones. It belongs to the fans. It belongs to the community. It belongs to all of us because we all take part in being that experience and carrying on that team. Because granted, yes, there's a reason why it's called home field advantage. There's a reason for that, guys, because the home crowd's on you. You just feel on top of the
Yeah.
world. You feel like you're invincible in so many ways. There's this there's this one I think I was watching a Tony Parker thing a few months ago, and Tony Parker mentions like he was just so on fire, so hot on fire one night. He scored above 50 points, and he was just killing it. I think he knocked out a 3-pointer way behind the 3-point line, and it was definitely a shocker. And watching his head-on interview was like, I didn't think I was gonna make it, but the home crowd was there. San Antonio was behind me in so many ways, and I just felt like I just felt it that night because of the home crowd. He emphasizes so much on the home crowd that it's so loud in the San Antonio stadium. Grant, I'm talking about us, San Antonio here, but it's just players, fans. It's just you feel so connected. Everyone was cheering. Everyone's having a great time. Everyone's clapping with each other. Everyone's giving high fives when the Spurs made a free throw or just it's definitely an experience that I kind of felt like it's a very emotional month for everybody. It
Yeah.
really is because we all pay a ticket to go see these players. We all pay a ticket to go see the sport, and essentially we all like this sport. It's a culture. It's a culture driven sport. It's in our culture, and I feel like that this is something that definitely, just like movies. Movies is an experience. The movie doesn't belong. The movie may belong to the studio, but it belongs to us. It
Yeah.
belongs to the fans. It belongs to the moviegoers. It belongs to the geeks. It belongs to all of us here, and it definitely does because we are going to go see it in the theater. We are experiencing it in IMAX. We're experiencing it in the best quality possible because we are going into that movie, experiencing it, and definitely it's powerful. It really is.
Yeah.
And yeah,
And
Becca,
this is
yeah,
how great like her speech was, and really what the message that she was relaying. It actually um broke down the some of the defenses that Rupert has, because
yeah.
Rupert's in that room, and she actually even talked about the story of a
Rupert's
boy
backstory. Yeah.
that was actually Rupert
Yep.
backstory, and how he started as a fan himself, and you know he like would sneak into
That was
the
great.
field and all that stuff, and then he became the owner. And yes, we hate Rupert, and we might be like, why is she talking about it? But she was effective in reminding these people why they all love like their owners, right? But
The
at the end
game.
of the day,
Yeah.
they love the game. But
Yeah.
if we take that experience and the ability from the fans, like we're getting rid of the next potential owner, right? Like to an
Hmm.
extent. So I think that's just how great, like we thought this whole time up to this moment, like
Hmm.
Rupert was empty and void of anything. But we see like there's something still there that Rebecca only was able to surface up. And when the speech was done and things like that, I was really scared that after that moment we would still find ourselves where like the rich billionaires in the room were just gonna dismiss it,
Yeah.
and just, or maybe even like part of them, and still go and vote for Edwin Akufu's plan and things like that. but
Mhm.
we cut then to the realization that everyone actually declined, and then Ukufu had another one of his tantrums where things doesn't go his way. But in her celebrating to Keely, like when recapping that, she even says like, "I just convinced a room full of Ruperts that
Yeah.
like not to do this." She
Yes.
saw what she can do with her power and present and genuine
Yeah.
position, and she even declared to Ted later in the episode towards the end that
Yeah.
that's the moment where I think she realized, I don't need to be Rupert. Like I don't want
Mhm.
to, it's not about that anymore. I actually
Yep.
want to win as a team for us, like what it means to our team, what
Yeah.
it means for our fans. That is such a great thing. Like
Yeah.
it's been 3 seasons coming as far as like Rebecca's full healing process and
Mhm.
being able to see what to do it for. And I could see that Ted was not only really happy about that,
Yeah.
but I think it's almost like Ted was like, okay, now let's do it. We're on the same page technically. So it's such a great moment, such a great Rebecca episode, like Nate
Mhm.
episode. It's just this episode does such a great job at like these
Yeah.
big tasks, all by different characters and different arcs coming together. It
Mhm.
handled it well, and I think that's why it
Definitely.
needed the hour. But
Yeah.
it just
I'm okay with an hour and a
it,
half though.
it
That's all
was
I'm saying.
okay.
I'm okay with an hour and a half.
It
I'm
was
still good. Yeah.
it was so good. So
These
I'm
last two
definitely gonna
episodes.
watch this again. We're 2 episodes to go, guys.
Ugh.
I don't know. Like this episode did a ton. I wonder how these next two are gonna play out.
I know it's definitely gonna be uh
The championship has to be there for sure.
I mean for
But
sure, but I just kind of feel like that knowing that the stakes are high, right? And knowing that the expectations are high, they just exceeded it. They know what they're doing. I'll leave it at that. They really do.
and last thing,
They
just
really
next
do.
episode is the one where there's usually a truth bomb that Rebecca drops to Ted. It's always the second to last episode.
Mm.
So they kind of teased it in last season. They were like, "Oh, we'll see you here next year." So I'm so excited to see how the next episode plays out.
Excited,
I don't
definitely.
even know where things are heading per se,
Yeah,
but
I don't know.
I'm
It kind
definitely
of leaves
hoping.
you it leaves you
Yeah,
like like I love it. I love it though because it's not
yeah,
predictable. Because before we're like, oh, it's getting a
it's
little
gonna.
bit
Yeah,
predictable in the early season, and then we're like, oh wait, now it's like, oh crap, we don't know what's gonna happen. I really don't know what's gonna happen next because it leaves you like, oh, we don't know where it's gonna go. I really hope the last two episodes we get a lot of more football. That's all I'm saying.
yeah.
We get a
And
lot more.
Ted,
Yeah.
this one was. Ted wasn't really in it. I mean,
No.
he
Yeah.
was, but then he wasn't.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping this next episode kind of brings it back together.
Definitely. All right, guys. If you have not already liked, subscribe to us, and if you stuck with us this long, yeah. I mean, obviously, this came out to be over an hour. Hopefully, the
Yeah.
episode's this long. But yeah, thank you so much, guys, for sticking with us. If you have
Thank you,
already,
guys.
and yeah, this is definitely a lot to talk about episode here. And put in comments down below questions for you guys. What did you think of this Ted Lasso review, season 3, episode 10? What did you think of this review, guys? What did you think of this whole episode? Put in comments down below, or if you have not already, like, share, subscribe to us. And if you have subscribed to us, be sure to like us on our be sure to subscribe to us on our podcast platform, wherever podcasts can be found. But thank you so much. As always, I'm your host, Ryan D. Equal Ryan 680.
Thank you, everyone. This was Lex. I hope you guys have a great week.
Have a good one. Stay safe, San Antonio. Catch you later. Peace.
Bye bye.